To the question, what don't you like about Paraguay, my answer is always the same. Banks. It's not the summer heat, which I got used to, not the sidewalks, which honestly I don't care about at all, but the banks. However, this isn't just my opinion, it's a fact. As we saw in our dedicated video, opening a decent bank account in Paraguay is extremely difficult. And by decent, I just mean an account that can operate in at least two currencies, Guarani and US dollars, that can send and receive money from abroad without exorbitant costs, and that doesn't require me to go physically to the branch to show all the documents justifying the transaction whenever I receive a transfer from abroad. Remember, when you move your residency, you are required to inform the banks you use. However, many of these, like Revolut and Wise, are not available for tax residents of Paraguay. So, since opening a valid bank account in Paraguay is so difficult, most people who move their tax residency here, and almost everyone that comes here to live permanently, must be skilled at navigating the possibilities offered by offshore accounts, international accounts which we can open as residents of Paraguay. These offer us a good level of service, good cost, and of course way more flexibility and ease of use. So in this video I will specifically talk about personal bank accounts for private individuals that you can open as a resident of Paraguay. The first thing to know is that there are different solutions for different levels of deposits. At the end of the video, I'll also give you my personal opinion about my favorite solution, which works at any level. So, if we have from $0 to $100,000 or $150,000, we'll use a certain type of solution. If we have between $100,000, $150,000 and $2–3 million, we'll have a different kind of solutions, and then above $3 million, still other solutions apply. Alright, so let's start. Below $100,000 to $150,000, the best solution is of course to use Fintech services that can be opened simply online without traveling by sending your documents in digital format. Among the fintechs that accept clients from Paraguay, it's worth mentioning first off Copy. This is a bank regulated in Switzerland that offers both investment products and banking. It is absolutely my favorite fintech for residents of Paraguay on a personal side for 3 reasons. First, it allows you to have receiving accounts in 22 different currencies, each one with its own individual coordinates. Second, it is totally crypto-friendly and openly so. And third, it's got very low costs. Copy has made having a bank account in Switzerland, a Swiss debit card, accessible to everyone. The only thing I'm not crazy about is the fees on card withdrawals, which are 1.5 euros plus 2.5% of the withdrawn amount, but everything else is absolutely excellent. The second fintech I wanted to discuss is Xapo, which is based in Gibraltar. This is, again, simply perfect, with the ability to have accounts in euros and dollars, possibility to send USDT transfers abroad, 100% crypto-friendly. It was designed to be a super friendly bank for cryptocurrencies, and it even has its own system for making conversions from crypto to fiat, crypto to crypto, and fiat to fiat. So this is really good, and it also has a debit card that offers up to 1% cashback on your expenses, and it has a lower commission compared to Copy, which is just 2% when you make an ATM withdrawal. The only big problem with Xapo is that they've introduced a $1,000 annual fee in September 2024, which initially caused disruption and led many people to cancel their accounts. Xapo still didn't want to go back on their steps, so the fee is still there, but when you consider the 1% cashback and the extreme low fees to convert every kind of fiat to fiat, every kind of crypto to crypto and crypto to fiat, is if you do these kind of operations a lot and if you use that card a lot, at the end, it's gonna pay for itself. The last 2 banks worth mentioning are Zinus Bank and EIB. Now, the first is based in the US, the second is based in Curacao, and they are specifically designed for citizens and residents of Latin America who want to have US dollar accounts. In both cases, the fees are quite good, and it is possible to request Visa and MasterCard debit cards to manage the daily expenses. The fact is that compared to the other two, these 2 banks don't have the same amount of history behind them. They are quite new, quite recent, they don't have many users as of today, and so I think they're worth trying. Maybe put $500 there, see what's up, but as of today, I wouldn't call them my main fintech accounts. Moving to the range from $100K to $2–3 million, we already have very good solutions to open accounts at world-class institutions. My favorite three banks in this category are HSBC International, Bank of America, and Standard Bank International. And so, of course, the first bank is British, the second is American, and the third South African, so we diversify as much as possible. All three offer free, big, nice accounts for residents of pretty much every jurisdiction, but in this case, we have some barriers to entry that are related to the minimum deposit and to the cost structures that are imposed in a way that it makes sense only to deposit above, like north of $100,000 for it to all make sense. We accept paying something more in terms of cost and making a higher deposit in return to keeping money in banks that have decades or even centuries of existence behind them and that guarantee us a great solidity. They are listed on the stock exchange, they have public balances, have physical branches in dozens of countries, and therefore allow us to have more peace of mind when it comes to our funds that are deposited right there. This time again, the documents are gonna be sent online. The only problem in the case of Bank of America is that you'll need a physical address in the US. Now, it's just a matter of having an American friend to arrange to have an address there, and if you can use their address for it, sure enough, they will open your account. The checks are not so strict. Now, there are also many European banks like ING and Crédit Agricole that allow you to open a bank account if you can demonstrate some form of connection with the country. In most cases, just buying some of the investment products of the bank, like some little mutual fund or whatever, is enough to form a sufficient bond to also have savings and checking accounts, which you can use to manage your money. Moving on to the third tier, once you exceed the $2–3 million mark, you start looking towards private banking services and very exclusive jurisdictions that can accept pretty much residents of everywhere, as long as they bring clean and substantial money to their accounts. And we're talking, of course, about accounts in Switzerland, for example, with UBS Private, or in Singapore or Liechtenstein, so countries that are considered the pinnacles in terms of banking solidity and financial stability. Of course, right there, the cost structure is not even what matters the most. What matters the most is the safety of your funds. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there is a solution I really like and I've successfully convinced several clients to adopt, always to great success. It is to simply have a non-resident account in your country of origin. I know that people get scared over anything and start to panic when they think of leaving money in a country with which they are cutting their residency ties and subsequently their fiscal ties. But if you have nothing to fear, because you manage your residency in Paraguay correctly, transparently, you have your tax returns, you're declaring and filing and doing everything that's needed, you should have no worries at all. The truth is that having a non-resident account in your country of origin is the most transparent thing you can have, because you precisely declare that you are leaving the country, that you're no longer a tax resident of it, and you have moved abroad along with your center of interest and the taxes. So, as long as you have your residency card, the cédula, which is the identity card from Paraguay, the tax residency certificate, your tax return, your tax compliance certificates, and an address, you have everything, all the paper trail you need to prove that you are fully a tax resident of Paraguay. At that point, your bank can simply take note and let you use your account as a non-resident. All the major European, Canadian, Australian, and just more in generally developed countries' banks support this option. Normally, fintech companies don't allow it, but traditional banks do. For instance, I continue to use my account at Intesa Sanpaolo, which is the largest bank in Italy, as my main account for the liquidity I leave in my name instead of the company's. I've never had issues of any kind, no question, no documents requested, no problems. They never called me, never wanted to know anything about me. And clients who have decided to follow this advice have had the same experience in dozens of other countries. The only people who have problems with the solutions are those who don't take the right steps, especially in terms of RUC and address and tax management in Paraguay, or those who pretend to be residents here, but in reality continue to live in their country of origin. If you don't fall under either of these two categories, you shouldn't have any problem using your account as a non-resident in your country of origin. And actually, in most cases, it's super convenient because you don't even have to change anything about the account itself. You don't even have to reopen it as a non-resident by closing the first one. You don't have to change your credit cards nor your debit cards. Only in some cases, they will want to get rid of your credit card and just leave you with debit ones. But in my case, for example, I've kept everything. My IBAN, cards, even my cost profile has remained exactly the same. And I hope that with this video, I've helped you understand how to navigate international banking after changing your tax residency to Paraguay. As always, that's all today from Asunción. See you in Paraguay.